So where's City Skylines 2 going right now? Well, if we take a look at the user ratings, it's got 16,566, which is, well, another 200, and it will exceed those of Cities 1. Yikes. So there's some definite hate out there, and I think it's well deserved because it was horrible at launch. All right, well, things have been fixed. Performance has been fixed, but they still haven't fixed drab. When we look at the total player numbers here, we don't cross the 15,000 number at all. And when we look at Cities 1, we're right around the same area. In fact, when we compare the two, you can see how it started off big for Cities 2, and then now it's neck and neck with Cities 1. In fact, there are times of the day where Cities 1 is higher than Cities 2. Now, granted, it's when we're going through the Pacific time zones, but still, it's there, and it may rise up for a while. This may not be all that bad. When we look at Civilization 5 and 6, let's go there. Here we are. Green is Civilization 6, blue is Civilization 5. You can see that, well, same as the Cities franchise. About 2 months after release, they had a crossover, and Civilization 5 had more players than Civilization 6, and that lasted a long time, about 2 years, and then it started to take off for Civilization 6, and the number of players started to grow overall after, 4 years? Yeah. So what we have, if we go back to the Cities comparisons, we've got roughly the same number of players here total as we did back here with just Cities 1. So yeah, if we're having a similar pattern to Civilization, we've got about 2 years before Cities 2 gets decent, and about 4 years before the genre grows in general. And well, what's the reason? Well, let's look at the SimCities. SimCity 1 gave us the game that we're playing today. What do you mean we're playing it today? Well, we're playing it today because it started off saying, hey, you build your city. Do you win or lose? Nah, you just build your city. The guy made the game because in an earlier game, he loved playing with the map builder more than he actually loved playing the game that went with it. So he said, well, how about I just put the map builder and make that the game? There you have it. The City Builder came out. It's awesome. Yeah, it's a bit dated, but it's still the same game that we're playing today. Build your city. You add new features over time, like SimCity 2000 added features, and 3000, and SimCity 4. You read all the things that they give you, and you go, hey, I've got those in City Skylines. And yeah, of course you do, because they're expected as part of the genre. But SimCity 4 went one further than all the other ones before it. It gave everybody Asset Editor, and the thing just went crazy. Now you could build all kinds of assets, bring them into your game, and your cities would look so unique because you have these different collections of assets to put in the game. It is hugely popular even today because of those assets. Yeah, there's mods for it that change the way the game plays, but it's the assets, the individual buildings that we can use to increase the variety of the game. That's what enriched SimCity 4. And by same notion, it kind of killed off SimCity Societies. This one was where you could plop the growables back in 2007. I loved that. But I didn't love the fact that I'm plopping pretty much the same ones over and over again, and there was no variety, no asset builder in it. So meh. Pass on SimCity Societies. And SimCity 2013, it didn't have the same assets from SimCity 4. Those couldn't be brought in. And there were some other decisions that EA made on launch that just killed it off. Like you had to always be online to play it. And SimCity 2013, it didn't just crash, it fell off the map. It's gone. It's donezo. And City Skylines 2 has not had as bad a thing as SimCity 2013. So thank goodness for that. If we go back to the charts, this Civilization comparison looks like the future for the Cities franchise, right? This is the beginning of that graph. We know what it looks like towards the end. They're going to cross over and then continue. And then once the new game gets really good, we're going to see it take off. Fingers crossed. But right now, when we look at the mods, and here's Nexus Mods, which has got about 40 odd mods in total. I don't know about that. If I go to modcities2.com, I can't see the total number. I have to click on each category. I'm not crazy about that. But here at Thunderstore, I can actually see the number of pages and the number of mods per page. We've got about 150 or so total here. It's growing. This is the one I would go to. If you said, all right now, play City Skylines 2 and use mods, see, okay, this is where I would pull my mods. Of course, you have to give me Cities 2, but because I refunded it. But anyway, and the other thing I see here is I see a name I recognize, Algernon. This guy has made some awesome mods for Cities 1, and now he's doing work in Cities 2. I see you, man. That is awesome. But what I don't see here are all the buildings. Wow, we've got loads and loads of buildings. 49,882 buildings in City Skylines 1. Granted, a lot of them are just, haha, here's a cheap version of the police station. It's for free and it has lots of cops. Yeah, okay, whatever. There's tons of those. Many thousands of really good, solid assets. And I've got, gee whiz, I cut back from 7,000 to 6,000 recently. That's how much choice I have. Okay, so we're not going to have that right away. But when I see a few hundred start to appear in the official mod store, then I know, okay, now it's time to look back at Cities 2 a little more seriously because we'll have that variety. The game is so drab right now. So drab. This adds color. I remember SimCity Societies. There was a lot of drab in that game too, especially if you did certain building styles. I didn't like that. The initial SimCity, hey, I had like red and blue and white in that game. But SimCity 2000 gave me beautiful colors, and I could build in summer sunshine all day long. And that's another thing. When I'm in Cities 1, I can build in summer sunshine all day long. Cities 2 forces me to endure not only nighttime, but brutal winters, where it's dark and dreary and it's just not fun. I want to turn off the seasons, and they actually gave a map where the seasons are deactivated. How about just an option to deactivate the seasons? I can turn them on when I'm ready to look at my city in a pretty winter, but when I want to build, I want to see what I'm building in the summer sunshine. And that's Cities 1. It was also SimCity 2000 and SimCity 4. SimCity 3000 was also that way. But yeah, this is the one, man. So I need that variety if I'm to go into Cities 2. And I don't see it yet. It's not ready yet. It may be 2 years off. If they get it ready to play on console in 6 months, that's great. I don't know if they can meet that deadline, but it would be great if they did. But it still doesn't address the lack of asset builder. We need the asset builder for Cities 2 to be a serious competitor to Cities 1. I will get back to building because I love Cities 1, and I'm going to keep playing in Cities 1. It's still as good a game as it was 2 months ago, so I'm going to keep playing it. In fact, it's better because I've downloaded more assets since then. Whoa, I love it. It's a good game. Get back to building. If you loved City Skylines 1 and you're disappointed with all the hype around Cities 2, well then go back to Cities 1. I give you permission for that. You didn't even need my permission for that. You don't need any advertiser to tell you what to do. You know what you like. And if you like Cities 1, go back to Cities 1 and play Cities 1 and really, really enjoy Cities 1. And they'll fix Cities 2 eventually. Or if they don't, well then great. You still have Cities 1. Just like they never fixed SimCity 2013 and we still have SimCity 4, you know? Play Cities 1. Get back to building. Get back to that game you really knew and loved. Yeah, it's got its foibles and follies, and there could be a lot fixed in it, but there's a lot in it that is fixed, and there's a lot of beauty still to unlock. It's the same game as SimCity. It's the same game. SimCity is the same game as City Skylines 2. You build your city. It's how much fun you can have building it with all the variety. That's the true pleasure. All those assets that we get to unlock. That's the pleasure. Get back to building with City Skylines 1 for now. That's my advice.